Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier have both been arrested as part of FBI investigations into sports gambling.
The NBA just imploded. Over 150 new names dropped in court, 30 people arrested, and federal prosecutors hinting this is only the beginning. Coaches, all-stars, even mafia links, all under FBI watch. What started as whispers has erupted into chaos. Today, we uncover how deep this scandal really goes. The shocking arrest that shook the entire basketball world. On October 23rd, 2025, just 2 days into what was supposed to be a thrilling new NBA season, the sports world woke up to pandemonium. Instead of highlight dunks and buzzer beaters, headlines screamed about corruption, wire fraud, and organized crime. Federal authorities had unleashed a bombshell, arresting more than 30 individuals in what is already being called one of the most explosive integrity crises in modern basketball history. Picture the scene. FBI Director Kash Patel standing at a podium, flanked by prosecutors and law enforcement officials, describing schemes so elaborate, so technologically advanced, they sound like something from a Scorsese film about the mob. X-ray tables that could read face-down cards, rigged shufflers analyzing decks remotely, marked cards visible only through special contact lenses, hidden cameras disguised in chip trays and chandeliers. This wasn't small-time gambling. This was organized crime at its boldest, and it had its tentacles wrapped tightly around America's premier basketball league. But here's where the story turns darker. Among those arrested weren't faceless gamblers. They were household names. Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, a 5-time All-Star, Finals MVP, and Hall of Famer, now in handcuffs.
Billups' arrest was part of a separate case, but it was related, linked to an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia. That according to reporting from ABC News. At the core of Rozier's arrest is a game from March of 2023 that saw an uptake of Rozier bets coming in on the under. Rozier left that game just 9 minutes in, citing a foot injury.
Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, known around the league as Scary Terry, with a multi-million-dollar contract. Former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Mookie Jones, once a confidant of LeBron James.
So all these guys knew what was at stake, and I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position.
Federal indictments, unsealed in the Eastern District of New York, painted a picture of two massive, interconnected criminal enterprises that had operated right under everyone's noses. The first, insider betting, using non-public information about injuries, rotations, and player availability to defraud sportsbooks out of tens of millions. The second, a mafia-backed underground poker ring using NBA stars as face cards, bait to lure the wealthy into rigged, high-stakes games. We're talking Manhattan penthouses, Vegas suites, Miami mansions, Hamptons estates. Victims losing over $7 million in total, with one poor soul dropping $1.8 million in a single night.
We have to realize gambling is an addiction. So the addiction of it is what makes you make illogical decisions. So not because you make $9 million. There are people who are making, as the FBI director said, there's a man who lost $1.8 million.
So far, prosecutors have named roughly 31 individuals publicly, but have made it clear this is nowhere near over. ESPN's David Purdom, one of the most respected gambling reporters, warned that league insiders are calling this the tip of the iceberg.
These are the kind of words that are coming out of people's mouths. It's not a surprise. It's very disheartening. It's very concerning. We don't know where this is going to go, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
4 NBA teams have already been indirectly implicated through suspicious betting patterns, and more indictments are expected soon. The arrests themselves were cinematic. On October 23rd, FBI agents executed simultaneous operations across 11 states. Terry Rozier was taken into custody in Orlando, Florida. The prosecutor sought a $10 million bond, but the judge settled on $6 million, secured by Rozier's home, with strict conditions: passport surrendered, total gambling ban. Chauncey Billups was arrested in Portland the same morning, wearing a brown hoodie and gray sweats. His attorney, Chris Haywood, insisted on his client's integrity. This from a man who had coached the game just hours earlier. Released on bond, Billups' travel was restricted to Oregon and Colorado, his passport seized. Damon Jones was arraigned in Las Vegas, where prosecutors told the judge the former player has a very serious gambling problem. He walked free on conditions: no gambling, no transactions over $10,000, restricted travel to Texas and New York, and a public defender appointed to his case. Federal prosecutor Joseph Nosella Jr. delivered what felt like a warning shot across the entire league. And you could tell This wasn't someone closing a case. It was someone just getting started. The timing couldn't have been worse. 2 days into the new season, right when excitement and ratings peak. Instead of celebration, the league went into crisis mode, canceling practices, issuing integrity statements, and watching as viewership dropped by double digits. Commissioner Adam Silver immediately placed both Rozier and Billups on indefinite leave. Portland named assistant Tiago Splitter interim coach. A leaked October 27th memo from ABC News revealed the league admitting it had failed to educate personnel about the dangers of gambling. The irony is brutal. The NBA, more than any other league, embraced betting since the 2018 Supreme Court decision legalized it nationwide. Lucrative partnerships with FanDuel and DraftKings poured billions into the league, but critics had long warned that it could end in disaster. Now, those warnings sound prophetic. The schemes themselves are jaw-dropping. Federal investigators codenamed them Operation Nothing But Net and Operation Royal Flush. Between 2019 and 2025, the operation stretched across multiple crime families, the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese clans, using spy-grade technology. The sports betting side worked through insider access, players, coaches, team staff feeding private information, injuries not yet public, rest decisions, game plans, to outside associates who then placed massive bets before markets could adjust. Terry Rozier's alleged role? The indictment cites a March 2023 Hornets Pelicans game where Rozier left after 9 minutes, citing injury. Right before tip-off, betting spikes flooded the under on his prop lines. Everyone who bet the under won big. Prosecutors claim Rozier manipulated at least 7 games that season, with associates placing over $200,000 in bets via FanDuel, hosting literal money-counting sessions at his home afterward. He reportedly paid a childhood friend about $100,000 for helping distribute insider info, information that led to over $300,000 in fraudulent winnings. A man making $26 million a year, risking everything for scraps. Damon Jones's alleged role centered on LeBron James's availability for a February 2023 Lakers-Bucks game. Having worked for the Lakers and still close to the organization, Jones allegedly knew LeBron would sit out with an ankle injury before it was announced, allowing insiders to bet accordingly. Billups' involvement overlapped both schemes. Court filings list him as co-conspirator 8, accused of providing lineup details about the Trailblazers before a March 2023 loss to Chicago. But his deeper link was to the poker ring, Operation Royal Flush. Those games were elaborate traps. FBI Director Kash Patel described the cheating tools as mind-boggling. X-ray tables, rigged shufflers, marked cards visible only through special contact lenses, and hidden cameras and chandeliers feeding live data to accomplices signaling from other rooms. One victim lost $1.8 million in one session. The total stolen exceeded $7 million. When victims couldn't pay, enforcers showed up, actual mafia muscle, using violence, threats, and extortion to collect debts. The FBI's investigation was exhaustive. 24 search warrants, thousands of surveillance hours, over 3,000 monitor calls. Years of work, culminating in coordinated arrests that rocked the league. 13 of the 31 arrested have direct ties to La Cosa Nostra. They weren't side characters, they were enforcers. The overlap between sports betting and rigged poker formed a web of corruption that prosecutors are still untangling. Names already familiar from past scandals reappear. People connected to the John Tay Porter case of 2024, suggesting that his lifetime ban was just one fragment of a much larger criminal enterprise. Porter's downfall serves as a grim precedent. A player banned for life, sentenced to prison, fined $500,000 for a smaller operation than this. The potential sentences now on the table: decades in federal prison. Wire fraud conspiracy alone carries up to 20 years per count. Money laundering, the same. These aren't fines, they're life-altering penalties. The ripple effects have shaken every layer of basketball, from owners' boardrooms to locker rooms to fans' living rooms. Legends see their legacies tarnished. Billups' Hall of Fame glow dimmed overnight. Rozier's contract and career hang in limbo. Damon Jones faces both legal peril and the exposure of a severe gambling addiction. Even the Players Association treaded carefully, emphasizing due process while quietly acknowledging the league's own complicity in normalizing betting culture. Inside locker rooms, reactions range from disbelief to fury. Bam Adebayo defended Rozier as a brother. Steve Kerr reminded everyone that players receive annual briefings. Charles Barkley called the accused stupid.
But the notion that guys are making all this money and giving information, come on, man, stop that. Ain't got nothing to do with addiction. That's just total stupidity on these two dudes' part.
Shaquille O'Neal said he felt shame for the league.
So all these guys knew what was at stake, and I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position. Families and their careers in jeopardy. There's an old saying in the hood, all money ain't good money.
Stephen A. Smith went nuclear, connecting the scandal to political motives, a claim unproven, but viral nonetheless. Comparisons poured in, from a 1951 CCNY point-shaving scandal to Tim Donaghy's referee case to even a 1919 Black Sox. Yet this one, it might eclipse them all. The NBA's internal memo outlined desperate reforms. AI-based pattern detection, stricter reporting, tighter betting rules, and calls to ban player prop wagers entirely. Silver himself publicly said those bets are too easy to manipulate. The fallout extends beyond basketball. Multi-billion-dollar TV deals, gambling partnerships, and congressional oversight now hang in the balance. Lawmakers have already demanded briefings. Preliminary hearings and plea deals are expected soon, and every insider knows, once one domino falls, the rest follow. Those plea agreements typically require cooperation with ongoing investigations, potentially setting off a chain reaction. The aftermath was unlike anything the NBA had ever experienced. In the hours following the arrests, league offices were flooded with calls from team executives, agents, and sponsors demanding clarity. Social media erupted into chaos, with hashtags about the scandal dominating every trending list. Fans, analysts, and even players themselves couldn't believe what they were reading. The line between reality and a scripted drama seemed to vanish. Inside team locker rooms, there was a tense silence. Players whispered to one another about who might be next, about rumors of names not yet released, but already circulating in private group chats. Coaches tried to keep focus on basketball, but how could they when federal prosecutors had just made it clear that this investigation was far from over? Every missed shot, every substitution, every injury suddenly felt suspicious. Behind closed doors, NBA executives met in emergency sessions trying to contain the fallout. The league's top sponsors were asking whether their partnerships could be affected, and television networks were monitoring ratings anxiously. For years, the NBA had prided itself on transparency and integrity. Now, those very foundations were being questioned by millions. Reporters described scenes of disbelief at practice facilities. Players who once idolized the very people now under indictment felt betrayed. Some refused to comment. Others said only that they hoped justice would be served. Even retired legends weighed in, describing the scandal as a nightmare scenario for a league that had spent decades rebuilding its reputation after past controversies. The public reactions became part of the story. Talk shows, podcasts, and news outlets replayed the same footage over and over again. The courtroom entrances, the handcuffs, the press conferences. Each new clip added fuel to the growing sense that something much bigger was still beneath the surface. Analysts compared it to the biggest sports scandals in history, from point shaving in college basketball to the infamous referee betting case years prior. But even those seemed smaller in scale compared to what this investigation hinted at. Within the league, trust began to fracture. Players questioned one another. Agents warned their clients not to speak publicly. Lawyers advised silence. Every organization feared that one careless statement could draw attention from investigators. Even team owners, who normally avoided public controversy, issued unusually direct statements condemning gambling and promising full cooperation with law enforcement. And yet, the damage was done. The NBA's reputation, something built over generations, had been shaken to its core. Federal agents had described operations that blurred the line between sports and organized crime, between competition and corruption. What once felt impossible now felt disturbingly real. The deeper investigators went, the clearer it became that this was not a single event, but a network of overlapping schemes.
Investigations, they'll wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but when they come knocking on your door, they have something. And we all know the letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling.
The same people who exploited insider information for profit were connected to underground gambling circles, high-stakes poker operations, and a system of intimidation that reached far beyond basketball. The lines between the court and the criminal world had been crossed repeatedly, and now, every revelation made the next one easier to believe. For players and coaches named in the indictments, the fallout was immediate. Their careers were suspended indefinitely, their reputations dismantled overnight. Even those who maintained their innocence faced the harsh reality that public perception often convicts faster than any court can. One by one, sponsorships were pulled, endorsements terminated, appearances canceled. The public's appetite for drama was insatiable, but for those caught in it, the consequences were devastating. Commentators began asking harder questions. How did it get this far? How could such elaborate operations go unnoticed for so long? And how deep did the ties between professional sports and gambling truly go? Some pointed fingers at the league's close relationship with betting companies, arguing that it had created an environment where temptation was impossible to ignore. Others blamed a culture that prioritized money and fame over accountability. Former officials within the league admitted privately that the system had cracks. Injury reports were often manipulated for strategic reasons, and information leaks were not uncommon. In an age where data travels instantly, even a small piece of insider knowledge could translate into massive profits for those willing to exploit it. What had once been considered a gray area now looked like the root of a full-scale corruption crisis. The human side of the scandal was impossible to ignore. Families of the accused were followed by cameras. Children asked questions they couldn't answer. Former teammates distanced themselves, afraid of guilt by association. The NBA community, normally so united in moments of adversity, found itself divided, confused, and fearful of what would come next. When the commissioner addressed the media again, his tone was somber. He acknowledged the severity of the crisis, admitted the league had failed to protect its integrity, and promised sweeping reforms. But even his words couldn't undo the images already burned into the public's mind. Handcuffed athletes, somber courtrooms, and headlines suggesting that corruption had reached the highest levels of the sport. Experts warned that this was only the beginning. Federal prosecutors had a history of expanding investigations once cooperation began. Those who faced serious prison time might reveal new names, new connections, and new evidence in exchange for lighter sentences. And if that happened, the NBA could be staring down years of legal battles and investigations that would keep the scandal alive indefinitely. Meanwhile, fans, the heartbeat of the game, were left in disbelief. Online forums were filled with debates about whether the league could ever be trusted again. Some swore they would never watch another game. Others argued that the guilty parties didn't represent the entire sport. But the uncertainty lingered, and the silence from certain corners of the league only made it louder. Financial experts predicted that the economic impact could reach into the billions. Advertisers paused campaigns. Merch sales slowed. Television networks quietly discussed contingency plans. What had started as a single FBI investigation now threatened to ripple through every layer of the basketball industry. Even as legal proceedings moved forward, the true story remained unfinished. Prosecutors hinted that cooperation among defendants could expose additional layers of the operation. People not yet named, transactions not yet traced, and connections not yet proven. Insiders began referring to the case as a living investigation, one that could evolve for years before its final chapter was written. The emotional toll on players still active in the league was visible. Some said the joy had been drained from the game. Others felt angry at the betrayal, angry at the attention, angry at how quickly public trust had evaporated. Locker rooms became quieter. Pre-game interviews felt heavier. And yet, games continued because they had to. For the league, survival meant adaptation. Behind the scenes, executives worked on restoring credibility, new compliance systems, stricter monitoring, and education programs for everyone involved. They knew rebuilding trust would take time, maybe years, but there was no other choice. And through all of it, one truth remained. This scandal had changed the NBA forever. It exposed vulnerabilities that few wanted to acknowledge, blurred the line between athlete and celebrity, between integrity and temptation. What began as whispers of wrongdoing had grown into one of the most significant crises in modern sports history. The investigation wasn't over. The story wasn't over. The only certainty left was that more would come. And as each new detail surfaced, it became clearer that this wasn't just about basketball. It was about power, money, and the cost of crossing a line that was never meant to be crossed. If you followed the story this far, now it's your turn. Do you think the league can ever recover from this? Or has the trust between fans and the game been broken for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. There's a lot more coming, and you won't want to miss what happens next.